5 years ago, I woke up. I realized that I was completely unhappy in my life. It was passing me by faster than I could blink an eye at, and the only person who could change that was me.
After college, I worked 4 years as a chemical engineer. Sure, the money was good, but I wasn't happy. After watching so many peers fall into the corporate trap, I knew I had to do something different. Luckily, without any debt or personal commitments, I was in a perfect position to make a radical change.
I decided to leave the life of stability that I knew and take a chance on a more uncertain life. The only time I was happy was when I was camping, and I had to find a way to make a life of it.
It took 26 years for me to realize that long trail runs, climbing, and nearly daily exposure to the mountains were what I needed in life to make me feel complete.
I quit my job, gave away most of my possessions, and came up with a rather vague idea of how I was going to survive my new life on the road in my tag Teardrop.
I also quit my job and moved into the bed of my old truck so that I could fully pursue my love of the mountains.
I didn't know it at the time, but it was the best and most life-changing decision I would ever make.
Even though it defied all common sense, I never once regretted the decision to steer away from the certainty and security that I had in my engineering job.
While I was completely ecstatic that my new life plan was working out, the one piece of the puzzle I never anticipated was meeting a partner to share this life with.
Life on the road could be pretty lonely at times. While I had no real expectations, I have to admit the idea of sharing a nomadic life with someone else was pretty exciting to me.
I won't lie, in the beginning, figuring out how to share space with somebody 24/7 was pretty difficult.
I remember spreading all of our belongings across the yard, and one by one deciding what to keep and what to toss.
And after a few tears, I remember learning a lot about each other that day.
Over time, we learned not only to live and love together, but also to work together.
This would be the most important lesson of all for the following 5 years. Living on the road has taught us so much about ourselves, each other, and most importantly, how to enjoy every single minute of life. Because of Kendrick, I did so many things I would never have done alone. Early on, I told Kendrick how much I loved the Grand Tetons, but that I would never be able to make it to the top of the Grand. So of course, Kendrick guided me. Sometimes very nervously tied to a rope. And after having to turn around so close to the top, he finally got me to the summit on our second attempt. We made it! Woo! We're here! Next, he showed me that we could go higher in life than I ever imagined. Literally. In Mexico, he calmed me down when I was nervous sleeping at 13,000 feet. He held off a wild pack of dogs, and he took me to a summit over 17,000 feet. We did it!
Well, we halfway did it.
Finally, despite my objections that I absolutely could not do it, he showed me that I could in fact climb 14,000 foot peaks in 14 days, along with a few other fun things.
I was already embracing a life of simplicity, but it took a lot of encouragement from Mandy to get me outside of my comfort zone of Colorado. And over the years, we've seen some pretty magical places together. Our trip from the northernmost point that you can drive in Alaska to the southernmost point of Mexico is something we'll never forget. In 16,000 miles, we witnessed landscapes from snowy mountain peaks to rugged desert, breathtaking beaches to deep blue waterfalls, and everything in between. Beyond the scenery, it was amazing to experience different cultures across 3 different countries. Because we believed in our dream, despite all those who doubted us, our nomadic life and our tiny tab trailer allowed us to see things most people can only dream of. Another thing I've realized over the years, it's always more fun to experience the beauty of a place when you have someone special to share it with. Mandy was a real trooper when she let me drag her 85 miles over 13 days on some of the most rugged trails in one of my favorite places, the Grand Canyon. And all of that despite the nasty blister she got on her heels on the second day of hiking. As we made our way across the rocky canyon trails, we still found plenty of time to stop for the beautiful views. This difficult hike also happened to be over Valentine's Day and Mandy's birthday, which gave me a pretty good idea she wasn't your typical gal. Finally, I always loved taking photos with my iPhone, but Mandy took my photos to the next level by giving me formal training and gear that I needed to take things to the next level. I have to admit, it's pretty convenient having your own personal photography and editing instructor on hand and on call 24/7.
Now don't get us wrong, life on the road has not always been sunshine and rainbows. Whether you live to work or work to live, the word work is still in there. We've definitely been through the ringer when it comes to figuring out how to run and succeed as a self-employed business and do it together.
Between all of the amazing memories, we spent countless hours on the computers operating our business, maintaining our websites, planning logistics, marketing, and of course, spending way too much time on social media.
And all the while, trying to find beautiful boondocking locations where we can still get all our work done.
While on the road, we've made a lot of the same mistakes as everyone else out there. Running out of propane, draining our battery, getting flat tires, freezing water pipes, losing awnings to the wind, and having a mice infestation, just to name a few.
But each one of these snags is a lesson learned and knowledge gained. We've come to embrace the experience and knowledge of our fellow new campers who have wisdom they are always willing to share, and we are always willing to accept. There are a lot of practical lessons to be learned while living on the road, but far more important than that are the lessons we've learned about life.
Primarily, we choose to pursue a simple life. We may stray from time to time, but we always come back to one thing: simplicity. Less stuff, a smaller footprint.
This approach to life has taught us to value experiences and relationships over possessions. The gift of an experience will always last longer than any item.
The last 5 years on the road together have taught us to redefine our idea of home. Is it a big place filled with a bunch of things? For some people, maybe.
But for us, it's been our little castles on wheels, Phoenix, Rocky, and Little Bear, that have truly taught us the meaning of home is where you park it.
Living full-time in a camper isn't a possibility for everyone, but what's important is to create lasting memories and cherish the time you get to spend while in your camper. Take the lessons learned while on the road and carry them into your daily life.
Remember the sights, smells, and feelings of being in nature. Just when you need it most, close your eyes and the feeling will be right there with you. So, here's to the lessons we'll learn in the next 5 years. Love and light. seconds.